Hey guys, welcome back. We finally got done working the big field. The past week or so, we've been working on terraces over there on that east side, and we just got an inch and a half of rain the other day, which is good. It was starting to dry out a little bit, and we still have some rye left to work right there, and of course the cows are still in it, but that's just the way it is. So we're gonna get over there because we've got a gate to go through, get set up, grease up the disc, and we'll see about working that piece up. And I thought it might be kind of cool to take you guys along for the ride. So, hang on, are we in neutral? Yep, all right. Oop, a little fast on the clutch. Just checking for flat tires. All right, let's get the gate open and get this disc greased. gone. Nice. That bearing's still there. Yeah, that bearing's gone. Yay. All right, well, that's about typical. Of course, a bearing's gone. So what we can do, that bearing's gone right there. And that one's still in there. This one's still good. That one's still good. I figured we had a bearing out, but this is a better spot to change bearings anyhow. And of course, well, I'll describe that in a minute. Let's get the rest of these checked before we go on. Yeah, that one looks like it's still in there. Good way to check is to spin. That one still spins good. How's this spin? That spins about like it should. That one's still in there. It looks okay. This one, that one's okay. And that one's also okay. So we've only got one bearing out, which is good. This needed to be greased before now, but we didn't do it. So, all right, yeah, that one's out. So that's why it won't spin. So on this disc, on this sunflower disc, the way they've got these set up, there are two hangers on the back, each one with a bearing in it, okay? And then on the front, there are three hangers per gang. And of course, there's three gangs per section, because there's a wing, a center section, and another wing. And so on this, the way it's all put together, the bearing that's out is right there, which is where the top end of the shaft is, because the nut's down here. And so I think that's how we put it back. Yep, it is. All right, so the nut's down here. So of course we have to fold everything up. I'll have to put spacers in so that as this drifts down, it doesn't, it doesn't go all the way to the ground. And I'll have to go back to the house, get the stuff, put a bearing in it. And then when that's done, I guess we can go and actually work some ground. But that's just one of the inspection things you have to do on this disc is grease the bearings, check the gang shaft nut to make sure that the gangs aren't running loose, the discs aren't spinning on the shaft. We recently found out that we have to check these, the hanger bolts, just to make sure that the hanger doesn't slide off, which it wanted to do on that end the other day, right there. And in addition to that, I mean, we've also got tires we need to look at. That's why I was looking behind me earlier, just to make sure we didn't have any flat tires. Because if we did, I would have turned around there before I came all the way over here. So that's pretty much it. And then the other thing I need to do, you guys don't let me forget this. This pin keeps wanting to drift up. I need to get another washer and another Presto pin / hairpin and put in the bottom and stop that thing from wanting to come up. Thankfully, our fancy 3-point hitch, or not 3-point hitch, but gooseneck hitch that we have on here, stopped that pin from coming all the way out. But I don't really want that thing bouncing around in there, wearing the drawbar or the disc hitch out unevenly. So, instead of being able to take advantage of the nice morning, and it actually is pretty nice, it's humid, but it's kind of cool, it's warming up. Now I have to fix the disc, and so probably won't get in as much runtime as I want. But this out here is what we're going to be working, and it's wet. It probably wouldn't hurt it another day. It'd probably be okay. We'll just have to see. For right now, let's get that disc fixed. So, about this time last year, I did a full video of putting bearings in this, and I think on this gang, I actually changed one of the bearings last year, if I remember right. But anyway, the specific details of that video I do not recall. However, what I do recall is that that video did not turn out quite how I wanted. It should have and could have been better. So we're not going to do a full-length segment in real time of changing the bearing in this, but I will throw in a a more professionally done, in theory, segment showing you what all is involved. So the first step is to pull this shaft out, and for that we use pipe wrenches because I don't see any reason to go buy wrenches big enough to fit on those nuts when we could just use a pipe wrench. Works just as well. The block of wood is just so we don't screw up the castle part of this castle nut, because let me tell you something, if you mess this part up, there's supposed to be actually little slots through here. That's why they call it the castle nut. Just for those of you that don't know, if you hit this real hard and you bend these threads in, oh man, that sucks. Trying to get it back off or on, you essentially ruin the nut unless you've got the tooling to rethread it, and we don't. So you just use a block of wood to kind of soften the blow so the hammer doesn't start denting the metal on that nut. And now that we got our shaft started in, we'll go hook onto the other end with a chain and a come along, and I'll tie it to the pickup and we'll start sucking it out. Here is the pulling setup. It's not too complex. Basically just wrap a spinning chain around the shaft there, then tie it to another spinning chain, which is tied to the come along, and the come along is tied to the receiver hitch on the pickup. Some of you might be wondering kind of why these are called spinning chains. Reason why is because this is about the size of chain they use in the oil field. The Roughnecks will use them. They will wrap it around the drill stem and kind of hold it to help make connections on pipe when they're going down or coming out if they're disconnecting. But if you look up a video of like Roughnecks at work or something, you'll see what I'm talking about. And they may not do it anymore. Hell, I don't know. I thought they still did. But I'm not an expert on the oil field. So yeah, we got all this set up. And the reason the pickup is parked like this instead of straight on is because, and I don't know this is every transmission or not, but on this 4R100 that's in here, the park is a pawl, which is basically just a piece of metal, and there's like it's like a slotted disc inside of that transmission. And so when you put it in park, what it does is it shoves that pawl through one of the slots in that disc, and that's what keeps your wheels from turning when you're in park. So in theory, if you yank on this pickup too hard one way, forward or back, while it's in park, you run a very severe risk of shearing off that parking pawl, and then your park no longer works, which is bad. So we do it this way so that we're kind of dragging that tire, and no, the tire's not going to come off that bead or anything. We don't have to worry about that. But that's why I don't hook onto this straight on, just because that transmission doesn't need any help. Damn it, the poor thing's worn out. So it's, like I said, it's really not all that complicated. There's not a lot of strain or anything on it. We just pull it through, except I almost forgot. I just pull it through, but you got to be careful. You have to brace it on this end because remember, these back gangs only have 2 hangers instead of 3 like on the front. So once you drop it out of this hanger here, it's going to want to flop. So it kind of has to be blocked up a little bit But otherwise, that's how we pull the shafts out of the disc here. I'll get that done. We'll move on to the next step. Now we need to kind of support it right here like so, because it's going to want to drop on this side here in a minute. It's fairly balanced right now. There's the race, what's left of the bearing, and that little bit of grease I tried to put in it. I'm pretty sure I'm strong enough to go ahead and pull this out the rest of the way. Yep. All right. Well, that's done. Now the fun part of crawling underneath so that we can get these bolts off. These actually aren't in too bad a shape. I think it's because we switched to grade 5 when we were still using grade 2. They would get worn down by all that dirt pretty quick, and they wouldn't last all that long. They'd be worn and we'd have to replace them constantly. But these actually aren't too bad. Now that's good because I didn't have a lot left in the shop. Now, all we have to do is drive the old race out with a punch after we clean the dirt out of it. And, you know, funnily enough, there was one, because these are ball bearings, so there was one ball left in here stuck in the dirt, which I thought was kind of funny. Get that kind of cleaned out here. These are, I think I see where. There's a piece of metal. There's a ball. That's kind of weird. Anyway, I believe that it wants to come out this way. There we go. Yay, all done. Alright, well, it's not spotless, but it'll serve just fine for our purposes. So we get our new bearing. GW211PPB13. It is a lot cheaper to get these from Carnell Sales, thebigbearingstore.com. I'll put a link down below. A lot cheaper to get this stuff from there than it is to go to Napa and get, or, you know, Chevy, or because there's a Chevrolet dealership. That's where we used to go and get these bearings, or Napa when we still had a Napa. And they were 50 or 60 bucks a piece then, and this was 10 years ago now. And these were half price. These were like 20 bucks, but they're actually more like 26 now. So the only thing, just for those of you that don't know, there's a track here where your grease comes in, and there's a track in this flange. So you need to make sure when you put your bearing in that that's all going to line up like it's supposed to. And then you should be able to just be able to tap her right in theory. These are new flanges, so it goes in a little more difficult. Like on the old flanges that are kind of still on the front, they go in a lot easier. I can almost put them in by hand. Just goes to show how many times that bearing's gone out then, huh? Much better. Make sure our grease fitting is facing the right way so that we can actually grease it. I have made that mistake before, and that kind of sucked to fix because I had everything assembled and the grease fitting was backwards. All right, now we can go back together. Going back together is pretty simple. We just shove the shaft through a little bit. We add the appropriate spacer and disc at the appropriate interval. And then as more of this is shoved through, just support it with blocks and jack stands. And then when we get far enough in, I'll have to get the big hammer out and start beating on it to get it the rest of the way through. So I don't know how much of this you're going to be able to see, but that's pretty much all there is to it. You can't go too far at a time, or I won't be able to get the discs around the scrapers here. And I imagine towards the end, we'll have to loosen that hanger and get it scooted back so that I can get everything in properly. It's a lot of work if you're not used to it. And we'll just kind of clean the discs off while we're at it. Ow, that hurts a feller's ears. I don't know that that one's gonna stay. Well, color me surprised, it did stay. All right. I got the hanger scooted over so that I can hammer that shaft the way through a little bit. And then we've got this disc here and a small spacer that goes in on this side. And then after that, once we get it through the bearing in this hanger, then we should be home free. Almost there. Well, it took a lot of maneuvering and figuring before I finally remembered I had a toe strap. The problem I had was picking this end up and keeping it straight. So I get it through that hanger, and I wrestled with this thing for quite a bit now. And if I just remembered I had that toe strap, or not toe strap, but ratchet strap, I would have been done a lot sooner, and I'm pretty tired now. So I got it started in the bearing. I got all the spacers in where they're supposed to be. So I'll go ahead and hammer it all the rest of the way through. And then we'll beat the hanger back into place and put that crap on, and then should be good. Oh, man. And the wind picked up for just a second there, and then it went away. But there it comes again. I need some breeze. It's pretty warm out here. Humidity's going away, but it's warming up, so feels about the same. Whee! Oh, wait. Probably ought to beat the hanger back first, hadn't we? Once we get the gang tight, then we will finish tightening that hanger. And hopefully a little stunt earlier that I did not damage the new bearing. We're about to find out. Oh. Getting tight. I am running out of steam. Should have gone back to the house to eat lunch, is what I should have done. Final bit of tightening. Now that we got everything where it's supposed to be, should be there. That should be fine. Shouldn't go anywhere. Come with me, and we'll take this wrench off. And we'll see if it's going to spin. That's much better. Much better. All right, I will throw some grease in that bearing. And that'll do it for this video. I got to thinking while I was putting all this back together, and what I decided was that this is long enough as it is by the time I get it edited. So this will be its own video, and then I will do another video with me running the tractor working this piece of ground here. And that'll probably be tomorrow morning because it's warm, and by the time I get back to the house, after I get everything picked up and I eat, and then I come back out here, it's going to be hot and there's no AC in that tractor. And it gets pretty toasty in there even with the doors and windows open. So we'll probably just wait till tomorrow morning for that. So there you go. That's how you put the bearing in a disc, at least this disc. So I was trying to think of something else I was going to add. I really don't have anything else to add, come to think of it. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you'll check out the next little installment. I'll put a link to it in the description because it'll be uploaded probably right after this one. And you guys can go check that out then, and everybody will be really happy about stuff. And that's all I got for you. Appreciate you watching. We'll see you in the next one. Take care. All right, bonus footage. I forgot. I got done with the back, and then I was greasing everything up so I'd be ready to go tomorrow, and I forgot that this bearing was out here. That'd be this gang. So after fighting every single one of these hanger bolts to drop the whole gang all at once, it's a pain in the ass, and then I just drug it around, and It used to drag a lot easier when we had those tiny little dinner plate size discs on there, but now that we got proper discs on, it pulls a lot harder. So this is the alternative method to getting this out. You might be wondering, why'd you drop the whole thing? Why didn't you just pull the shaft out? Well, here's the thing. I have to be able to get like a chain or something around that to get it started, and it wouldn't start. I couldn't pry it out with a pry bar, probably because this shaft is still a little bent. The reason this brace is in here and that's welded there is because last year or the year before, Dad was disking and he got a little too close to a tree and it just bent that whole thing back. So I'm pretty sure that's why this thing wouldn't pull out. I'll get it off. It's going to suck, but I can do it this way. But I'm going to call it quits for today. I got started late. I got done with that back gang late. And this thing wanted to fight me, so here I was thinking I'd come down here and just get it done, and then I could go in the morning. But no, we got to fix the disc tomorrow morning too. Oh well, that's how it goes. But yeah, you can get it off this way too. It's just a lot more work. A lot more work.